Hi everybody, I'm Mikey, and this is part of the Advent Calendar series that is a crochet along. For those working on the crochet along with me, every few days a new video will be available to advance you to the next part of your project. There are 15 tutorials in all to complete today's project. If you're finding this and the crochet along is done, all videos will stay up indefinitely. In the more information of this video, you'll find a link to the playlist where all the tutorials will be listed in order for you to play along. The entire pattern is now available for free for those who don't need a video. Refer to the video description to get redirected to the pattern. So in the meantime, let's begin with today's tutorial to advance you to the next step, and of course wishing you the very best of the festive season ahead. So this is part of a crochet along with me. So today is part 1 of 15 of creating this advent calendar from start to finish. Today's project, we're going to be making the white backdrop that you see here. This is an oversized backdrop, and you will see that it's really quite large once you get it done. So today's project in video number 1 is that we are going to finish the backdrop in order to get that done, and then in the next tutorials ahead we'll continue along with making all the other components that you see. So this is video number 1, and let's just do a quick pattern review as we go. All of the different colors have been listed here. We're using Caron Simply Soft, and you will see the off-white has 3 balls and all the other colors have 1 ball each in order to create all the whimsical colors. You can take a look here, and it's really quite easy to be able to follow along on what balls that you need. You'll need a 5mm size H crochet hook today. You'll also need a bit of stuffing, as some of the characters here have a little bit of light stuffing inside, and you'll also need 24 buttons because you will notice that these decorations hang from there. So as the date goes on, you put the decorations onto the tree, and by the end of Advent, of day number 24, all of the decorations will move from the pocket up into decorating your tree. All the instructions here have the abbreviations that are used throughout today's pattern. This is an 8-page pattern because everything that you see here is listed, but don't look at it as 8 pages, look at it as step by step, and it's not so bad. It's intermediate, so therefore there are some things here, especially within the decorations, that are a little bit more complex than easy level, so therefore the entire pattern gets listed as intermediate. So this is video number 1. We're going to concentrate on just the white backdrop. Everything else that you see on top of the white is not going to be covered today. And we're going to get this completely done. We're then going to go around with the light border, and then we have 2 tabs. There's a dowel that is holding that into position, and you can then hang that from a wall or a door, whatever you wish. So what we're going to be doing today is the white backdrop, the edging, and the tabs in order to complete. So without further ado, let's grab our off-white yarn, and let's grab our H size 5mm crochet hook in order to begin. So behind the scenes, I'm already working on this, and I've got my backdrop already done. I have not done my edging yet or my tabs, and I'll catch up with you in a bit on that. But I'm going to show you how to get started with this first, with showing you a small sample, and then you can just follow the instructions in order to get to the large size sample that you see here on camera. So let's begin with the slip knot, and we are going to put that onto the hook. And remember, this is an intermediate level, but if you follow along closely enough, maybe a beginner like you could probably actually get started too. So you're gonna have to chain a total of 83. I'm not gonna do that here on camera because I've already got my sample done, but you're just gonna make your chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you will chain all the way to 83 for me, and then meet me back here and I'll show you what to do from that point. So once you have your 83 done, I want you to go second chain from the hook. So there's 1 and 2, rotate it to get the back hump of the chain only, and go in the back side. So it's just 1 strand in the back, and you are going to single crochet, and you're going to single crochet in each of the back humps of the chain, working your way across, and you will have a total of your chain going all the way across. So just do that for this row, and then we'll start up the next row in just a moment. When you get to the end of your chain, you're just going to stop, and then you're going to turn your work and then start. So every row now, completing up to 37 inches for this, is going to always be the same. You're going to chain up 1 and then insert into the very one right underneath it, and you're going to single crochet yourself back across all the way to the other side. So you want to make sure that you're just paying attention to that. You will have a nice beautiful rectangle by the time you're done. You need a total inches of 37 inches right from this base right up until the top. It'll take you several hours in order to get that completed, and that's why this is being done as a crochet along, so that you have time to get that done before moving on in the clues. So once you get to the very end, go right into the end one, and then you turn your work and then start again. So just chain up 1, going right into the first one again, and single crochet yourself all the way across just like so. So please do this now until you get to 37 inches long, and then once you get that done, then you're gonna meet me back here, and then we're gonna start the trim together, and then we'll do also the borders at the, or the tabs at the top at the same time. So several hours ago, I would have left you doing this so you did your 37 inches, and I have my 37 inches done right from start to finish. So once you have that done, you're just gonna fasten off this particular yarn. So we're just gonna trim it. Okay, and then just pull through the loop and finish it. So what I would recommend is that you hide in any loose ends that you have right now. It just makes it a lot easier instead of waiting to the very end. Grab your darning needle, just like so, and feed that onto, feed the strand onto the needle, just like so. And to really hide it in, you want to glide it up underneath the stitches 3 times. So just don't impede the edge, just go right up underneath. Okay, so you see it's not along the edge, just going across once, and just pull it snug but not too tight, and then going back in the other direction again underneath the stitches. So 2, and go back one more time for 3, and then you can safely cut that out. Okay, so now you got that done. I want you to do that to the other one on the other side. So right where you started it on this side here, I want you to do the same with this one. Get that out of the way, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next part of this project. So let's move on to the next part of the project. Using a robin's egg color, if you're following exactly, what you want to do is create a slip knot and insert that onto the hook. So you have a choice. You can go along the edge or this edge, it doesn't matter. So when it's rows like this and it's single crochet, each row equals the single crochet as you go along, and then of course along the top edge you have that. So you're just gonna start in the top edge, okay, just like this, and then fasten on, chain 1 and single crochet. Okay, so you're just gonna go along that edge, just single crocheting across. And then what you're gonna do is that when you get to a corner, you're always gonna do the same thing for this. So we only have to go around one time, is that in the very corner one, you wanna put in 3 single crochets and then continue along the edge. So let me get over to that point for you, and I'll see you there in just a moment. Okay, when you get to a corner like this, the very last stitch is going to be 3 single crochets, and that allows you to turn the corner. 1, 2, and 3. And then you just continue down the side. So remember what I said already, is that each row equals a single crochet. So just coming in the side here, you're just gonna single crochet in the end of each of the rows going all the way down to the other side. So that's how you're gonna complete this round. So what are you gonna do at the next corner when you hit this? 3 single crochets in that one, and then you continue along the edge and etc. So what I'll do is I'll meet you at the end of this round. I'll show you how to finish this, and then we'll carry on with making the tabs to bring today's tutorial to conclusion. So I'm coming all the way back around and right to where I had started. Remember that I started with 1 single crochet in the first stitch. So what do I need to finish this with? Well, I need to finish off by putting 2 more into that same one, okay, to complete that corner. So 1 and 2, and then we slip stitch to the very beginning one. And then that's it. We fasten off. So let's fasten that off. You want to hide in your loose ends, just like I showed you before with the darning needle. And then we're going to begin to do the tabs next then to complete today's tutorial. So right now I have it going all the way around. So let's begin the next part with making the tabs. So right now we have the main backdrop done here, and you can see it looks pretty fabulous. And now we're going to do the tabs. Now the tabs are along the top. There's 2. Okay, 1 and 2 right here. So what we're going to do is make rectangular strips on each side. Okay, so we're going to do those separately, and then we're going to fold them over to create that loop where the dowel will go into, and then we sew that directly to the top. So there will be 1 on this side and 1 on this side. Both of the tabs are exactly identical, but I'm just going to show you a miniature just to show you how to do that. You're going to fold it over and then sew it to the top of here. When you go to sew, you want to make sure it's 1 inch then from the outside, and then you're just going to sew the rest of it, and there should be a small gap here in the middle. This is where the dowel will be exposed, so you can pin it to the wall or nail it to the wall or hang anything to, and then you just go and add the next tab, again 1 inch in. So just be very strategic with your sewing, and you can also, just because the dowel will be hanging out on both sides of here, you can also have the dowel string coming up like this to be able to hang too. So this is a relatively long calendar. You'll love it, and let's get started on showing you how to do the tabs. So using the same color that you just did the border, you want to create your tabs, and the tabs are 2 of them, so you'll have to do this twice. So you're going to chain a total of 39. I'm not going to do that here on camera because I'm just going to show you samples. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and you'll go all the way to 39, and then you'll start. So what you have to just do is go back and forth in the rows, just single crochet. So second chain from the hook as we begin, going into the back loop only. I want you just to single crochet back across your chain. So you're gonna do this like it was the backdrop, just single crocheting back and forth until you get to 2.5 inches in the height. And then once you have that done, you're going to then fold this over, and you're gonna go into both sections, so it creates that loop, and then you're gonna sew that directly to your project where I just explained. That information is available on the pattern too if you need some more clarification. So you're just gonna continue just to go back and forth, single crochet, so you're at the end, turn your work, chain up 1, and single crochet until you get 2.5 inches. So do that, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So once you get your 2.5 inches high, obviously it will be longer because this is just a smaller sample. You want to cut this string here so that you have enough to be able to sew it to the project. So you just want to cut it, and you are just going to feed it through like this. So you're going to use that strand to sew it to the other project. So let's bring up back up the other project here right in the upper corner, and remember I said it's about 1 inch. My finger is about 1 inch there. So I'm going to start right about here, and all I'm just going to do is that I'm going to take this large strand that I just cut, and I'm going to feed it onto my darning needle, and I'm going to go about 1 inch. My thumb is about 1 inch. I used to be an engineer at one point, and they tell you to measure a body part so you have what you know is 1 inch. So I know that for sure. And then all I'm just going to do is just pull it together here. Okay. And what I want to do is just go to the other side. So just fold it over and then come through the other side of this project through the same spot and pull everything nice and tight. So what I want to do is that when I go through this project, so I'm going to go through the next stitch here, and then I'm going to go through the next one here, both layers at the same time, and pull through. So this is a whip stitch. Okay, and then go to advance to the next one here, and next, and next. And I want to do that until everything matches up to each other as I'm going across. So go through both of those layers at the same time. So when you get to the end of this, you're just going to fasten this strand off like you would have just finishing a project. Go back and forth 3 times. And this tab here is creating a loop that you see that you can slide in the dowel. If you have other ways that you prefer to do this kind of method, you can do that. I thought about actually crocheting this directly onto the project first and not actually doing a separate tab. But again, that's I'm following the instructions as per the designer, because usually they have a better idea on implementation than I do on some of this stuff. So once you have that done, okay, so you got everything in place, you want to hide those loose ends. So just going back and forth a total of 3 times just underneath the stitches. So 1 and 2, and clearly yours will be much wider. You could do mini tabs like this too if you wanted to. It's up to you. It's your creativity. And if you go back and forth 3 times, you can cut it right down to the project. Get rid of all your loose ends, and therefore you have a little tab. So your tab will then be almost to the middle, and then the new tab will then start in the middle going out to the other side. Again, it's about 1 inch off from the edge, just like so. And now I'll be able to put in a dowel and hang this from the wall or from a door. So this is where I'm going to leave you in this particular project. So you have to join me next time as we advance our way through the Advent calendar and getting our next steps. So the next step that we're going to be doing is working on the Christmas tree. So I'll see you next time, and have a great day.